how's it going, everyone? So hopefully now you can actually see me on here. Um, so I kind of wanted to get into a few things here. So has anybody just been trying to deal with how to pay bills, how to get everything paid for, and then you're always left needing more money at the end of every month? And lately, I know I've been there and I'm still there. So you got to try to find ways to make money to figure out how to go forward, especially if you have a family, because a lot of people might depend on you. So either you need to start a small business, a side hustle, do something. So I've kind of dealt with this over the years. And if you see my last video, you know that I ended up kind of doing this on the side here and there just to get a little bit of money real quick and stuff. But I've been, to give you a background, if you're, well, first, if you're looking to try to do stuff like this, which is somewhat of a trading to make a little bit of side income, it's not easy, but it's not hard either. And it depends on how you want to view it. So as you can see on my screen, I do have the US dollar index up there to look at price, how the dollar is valued in the world. But we're going to kind of break it down a little bit, and there's stuff that I want to talk to before that about understanding, I guess, a little bit of how we got to this point, which some of y'all might already know. I'm not sure. But right now I'm using TradingView. You can go on their site. They have a free account. You don't have to, they do have a 30-day free trial if you want to, but you can just set up an account. You don't need the 30-day trial or anything like that. But if you want to trade on this platform, then you might want to consider doing that. I've been using them for years just to kind of understand where I'm going and what, I think their platform's a little bit better to use. And when I actually start using or doing more in-depth trading, I think I will end up using it. And you can choose, they have different platforms that they hook up to this platform to be able to hook your accounts up with to be able to trade, which is awesome. It makes it a little bit easier for everybody. You just would go down to the bottom of it and then click whatever you're wanting to do. If crypto you want to do, or the stock market stuff, you can do any of that stuff. So you just go down there, click whatever you're interested in. You go through their protocol, set up your account through them. You can transfer money over to that account, and then you can start using the TradingView account, and it links everything up to that particular platform. So it makes it a lot easier where you can do all the stuff here. And then if you want to really get into it, you can actually sign up for TradingView and have their platform. I don't know exactly how much it costs. I know it's up there in price, so starting out it might not be the way to go, but you might want to. So with that being said, I would go to, I do a lot of my charting parts here, and then I actually trade on Nadex. So some of y'all might not know Nadex, but you can go on nadex.com, and basically you pay for a contract of how it moves. I'll probably get into a video of that if y'all are interested in that, how I mess with that. Like right now, since it's Sunday, the markets are closed, so it doesn't let me bring anything up. So I can't really show you anything until Sunday at 6 o'clock. It'll start populating stuff on there, and I can start looking at stuff and kind of going over it. You can't, if you're on a computer, you can do your trend lines and stuff for the most part, but in my opinion, it seems a little bit a pain in the butt. So I kind of use the TradingView, and then I go there. So on my phone, I'll set everything up on my computer on the weekend, like I'm getting ready to do now, part of it, to show y'all how I do it. And also to understand how it's set up. And then I will end up going to Nadex, and I watch the price between the both of them on my phone throughout the week. And if it gets to a point where I'm confident that it'll do one or the other, I go into the trade, whether it's going up or going down. You can start with $100, I think it is. They may have moved it up to 300, but when I was originally doing Nadex, it was $100. But they both TradingView and Nadex both had demo accounts or paper trading accounts. You can set them up to whatever amount that you want, I believe. I know, well, I'll take that back. TradingView, I think you put an amount in, which I think I did $100,000 just to do. On Nadex, I think my account was at $10,000 that's set up. So I want to be a little more realistic with that one than the other one, but they both do the same exact thing. And this episode slash course is for people that are trying to understand it a little bit. Now, I don't have all the answers. I am not a day trader. I have a full-time job. This is stuff I do on the side. But I kind of want y'all to understand where it goes. Yes, this is a long drawn in kind of beginning, but you need to understand like kind of the whole ins and outs of everything. So that's why I'm kind of discussing this right now. So now let's go on to, all right, the dollar. It seems like markets mainly go off of the dollar. So it seems like you got, as much as some people don't want to believe this, yeah, the stock market and cryptocurrencies, they kind of go in the same direction. Normally, precious metals usually go down when those markets are doing good. However, we're in a weird situation right now where all of it's kind of going up. So I'm not exactly sure how that's going to play out. You know, the economy's not the best. It's been jacked for a little while. And you can tell it in the grocery stores. You're paying, 2 to 3 times more, or shrinkflation, where it might be the same box. Like I'm sure some of y'all used to go get chips, potato chips, and you're like, why are you giving me a big bag like this and it's only filled halfway? That's pretty much shrinkflation. So they can keep the prices the same, give you less product, and no one really knows or understands or really sees it. So that's kind of what we're going on here. So when in the 30s, early 30s, 1930s, they ended up taking us, well, they started pulling gold from everybody because they were trying to corner the market, basically. This is my wording, probably bad wording, but so they basically started taking everybody's money. Now they said that if you had over 5 ounces of gold or whatever, you needed to turn it in. And if you didn't, you'd end up going to jail and having to pay a fine, all this other stuff. I don't think anybody ever went to jail or paid fines. It's almost like they did a scare tactic for people to turn in their money. So they gave them, I can't remember what it was, like $25, I don't know, $25 an ounce. And then as soon as they got it all or whatever, a good portion of it, they were like, oh, let's put it up there to $60 or whatever it was. So automatically everything went skyrocket, on prices and stuff. But anyways, get back to this chart. So let's go and start doing some things. There's a few indicators that I kind of use, which is kind of like trend lines, which is going to be up in this area here, which there's a little arrow right here where you can come over here and you can choose. So I'm just giving you a rundown. And then my other thing that I like to use is this fib. So it kind of helps a little bit in certain things that I'm looking at. But right now, I want to do some trend lines here. So we'll go to horizontal. And basically, I'm going on this chart, and I kind of want to see where a lot of things line up. So you have a lot of stuff right in here. I'll probably put a line there. Now we are in the month. If you want to change it different, I always start with the higher things or whatever. Now I'll click it and I'll kind of go down a little bit. So we're starting off the month, just trying to get a good gist of where we're at. So let's see, is this a good one? So Yeah, so we are touching here, 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 kind of in here. So that's probably a good one to get around into also. Now we do have lines here, and honestly, it's more of a gap. So it's not necessarily going to be exactly right there. So like how these lines are a little further, you could put another line right there because that's going to be, it might go somewhere in that range. But just for instance, I'm just putting these in here or whatever. So let's go again, because when you're doing these things, you're going to go, it'll probably touch back on some of these, which will, you'll be able to trade off of if you want to. So here we have a few more. So there's going to be a gap in this kind of area. So I'll just kind of do it mid-range here, about there. Then let's see. So these peaks is kind of what I'm going off of. So right here is pretty much another one. Hit that. Then go up to the top here. So we know that's the top of that one. All right. So now let's go into the actual trend line. And so we'll go from top to top. Click it again. Bottom to bottom. Got another one over here. So we'll do bottom. So I'm basically having it touch bottom here and these bottoms here. Now it's kind of might be a little tough for you to get to see all that stuff, but this is kind of what I'm getting an idea of. So then we can go down here. So as we're doing these, you can kind of pay attention to how it's happening. So it'll come up here, down to here, bounces off of that again. It doesn't quite get down here, but still it comes up, bounce off that again, bounce off that, because we're in a range. When it actually cracks, it cracks. So when it comes through this line here, that's about when you want to put in a buy per se. And then try to take it up as far as possible. Now, with Nadex that I trade, it's on time frames. So you can do as low as 5 minutes, I think it is. You do trades up to the week. And you can run it out to the end of that. And if you do, you get either $0 for that contract or $100 for that contract. You can also get out early. So each contract you get costs $1. So if you want 10 contracts, it's going to cost you $10 to put in those contracts. And then if you wanted to get out early, it's going to be another $10. Or if you hold it until the end expiration date of those contracts, that time frame, then you don't pay the $10, but you either get $0 or $100. So how I kind of view it, or at least I've been doing last week, I started doing this. I pretty much been doing a week. I look at my lines, I look at the week, and then I'll end up putting my buys or sells in for those. And then if it gets whatever percentage you decide you want, try not to get greedy. You decide you want to do 10% on it. So let me put this into some context. So the S&P 500, they say on average gives 10% a year. So what if you put $500 into this Nadex account and you decide to do, I don't know, 10 contracts at $42 each? That's $420 plus the $10 for the contracts. So now you're at $430. Now your 10%, remember, they end up hitting you for $10 for the contracts and $10 for each of them if you get out early. So you got to put that in the equation. So let's say, all right, now you're at $440 in. So if you want 10%, you need $44 to $45 for each contract. Yeah. So if, am I doing that right? No, 45 to 50 bucks roughly for your 10% on that $500. So if you've got 10 contracts, it goes up $4 to $5, then you can go ahead and sell out of that and you just made 10%. So you could do that in a week, 10% you made off of that money. And again, the S&P 500 is doing 10% a year. You can do that in about a week. Now, again, the problem is psychology. You're going to be like, oh, well, I can make more. It's actually taken off. That's what you're trying to do at the very beginning, because you don't want to lose money. And most people lose money in this thing because they don't have a plan. So if you sit there and do your lines on your charts, you're following this, it hits one of them, it doesn't break through, it starts going up, let's say off of bottom of a trend line. You go ahead and put a buy to the closest one that's there for it to go up. It starts going up. It gets to $5 to $10 more per contract. Go ahead and sell out of it. You made money. So, I mean, if you want to leave it in 10 to 20% of making it, leave it at that. Now, if you're trying to do 30%, something like that, or, you think that it might, change up or whatever, now you're getting in the weeds of psychology or whatever. And that's where most people fall, because feelings don't belong in this kind of stuff. And that's the hardest thing to understand. Do not put feelings in this kind of stuff. So let's go back to what I'm doing with this charting. So now we've done the month. Okay. So let me also explain. So right now we're at $104 for the DXY, as they call it. Usually other things start popping off, like cryptocurrencies, stock market and stuff starts really going when it's under 103, I believe. Now it'll go up, to a certain degree at 104 and stuff, but it really goes when it's under $103, it seems like. So keep track on that. So matter of fact, we can sit there and do a line for that. Horizontal line. Let's find 103. So roughly right there. If you go on the line, well, actually it already pops up when you click it or when you put it down. So you can go up here, you can change the color. I'm gonna put red, because that's our line to really find out how we're going to gauge other things. And if you want to, you can put text right here. So let's say 103 line. Oops. All right. So now we got that. So let's go to, since we did the month on that, before I go down on anything, let's look at some other things, the other ones. So the S&P 500, it's been around for a long time. So this crash here was the housing market crash. This was 2020, the C19 crash. I'm not exactly sure this is the dot-com bubble crash. So you have crashes throughout this. Things go up, things go down. But bring this up here. So we know this is the 1929 crash right here, and it just kept going down, got hammered. Didn't start finally going back up till 32. So you're looking at about 3 years of devastation. Then it kind of went basically sideways. It went up, it went sideways. But you actually go into the books, it talks about how there were quite a few people that actually made a ton of money during these times too, because you can make money when it's going down. But you always got to pay attention because you can get wrecked quick. So, all right. So on this, I'm actually going to go to the fibs and we're going to start at the very beginning. So what you do with the fibs, you'll click it up here. You go to the peak of that one. You come across to see where the bottom is here. Now I'm going to stretch it over. So this is kind of where we are at. Right there. All right. So a lot of times you'll hit these. That's why sometimes this is really good. The fibs bounces off of that line, comes back down, flirts, almost hits the top of that, comes back down. It goes into this range, comes back. So it bounces off these. I don't know how these lines really necessarily work, but it seems to work good. It keeps, tapping and coming down kind of thing. So we max out right here. Well, we've got all this. It kind of comes out like it's going to do something, comes back in. People are worried. It comes back and it happens to go up. So now that we know that it does play off of that, let's see what we can do on another one. So we got the top of this one. We go to the bottom of that. So if you kind of look at this, and this is just me looking at it. I don't think anybody's mentioned this. They could have. But see how this actually comes out back down and then starts going back up? Kind of looks like this, doesn't it? So if that's the case, could we be seeing this stretch going up? I don't know. A lot of people are saying that this is about the point where it's going to crash 80, 90% and everything is going to collapse. I'm starting to think just by doing this now, again, just thinking, so what if they change? Actually, when was this time frame? 8082. Huh. I wonder what happened in that time frame where it started taking off. I should Google that. Let me check. Got my phone here. 1982 finance. Inflation had fallen to 5%. Long run interest rates began to decline. The Feds allowed the federal funds fall back to 9%. Unemployment declined nearly 11% at the end of 82 to 8%. Really? Because that sounds like what we're going through right now. Unemployment's going up. Interest rates been going up. And we are taking off. Huh. Interesting. Sorry, this is kind of how I try to figure things out. And I know most people are not going to get this far. And you might be doing yourself a disservice by doing this because you're not seeing what's going on here. So if that's the case, something changed for this to start going up dramatically, up into where we started doing the 94 is about the time computers really started taking off. That's probably where that came in. I can't remember 92. I'm old, but I'm not old enough to remember a lot of this stuff because I was a kid. All this time I was just mowing grass. So, okay. So what if, hypothetically, what if we are in a point where unemployment is still going up? We got an issue with whatever's going on. Inflation is happening. It said it happened back over here. Okay, it's happening here. Things are going up. What if they change the banking system to cryptocurrency stuff? That's what they're doing. Go look at BRICS, which is what is it? Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. And then they just added 13 more countries. I mean, they've got a lot going on. They're talking about doing their own currency and everything. A lot of people are trying to join them. Now I did hear there be a possibility that we actually applied as the US. I don't know how true that is, but that would be some crazy stuff if that was true. I wouldn't mind investigating that. But if someone's listening to this and you got information to that, please hit me up with some of that information. So let's kind of keep going on. So we get in the currency thing. It's kind of taking root. It's setting up. So that's kind of what we were doing with IBM, Microsoft coming through here, and then internet started going and popping. So then you got the peak of that, and then it crashes. So what if this is up here, and this is putting regulations on the banking system? It might do a pop down. They finally get everything going or whatever. CBDCs, which I don't believe. Then they're pushing, and then that's when everything gets completely implemented in everything, and it's taken off. Everybody's trying to make money off of this stuff, and it bubbles up here, and right before it pops. So if that's the case, we got a good, let's see. Is it over here? Can I measure? Measuring stick. So what did this go up to? That. Top of this. You're looking at 1,351%. Wow. All right. We'll say 1,350. So we'll go to the bottom of this. Holy cow. Can't even go up that high. 1,350. I'm just showing y'all how my mind is thinking, okay? Close enough. All right, so you're looking up there. So you're talking about $48,000 to $50,000 for S&P 500. What's it at now? You're at 5,800 on this. That's insane. And that's at the peak. So just going off of here, why can't you just put a little bit of money, 10% of your pay every paycheck into something like this? Now, again, it's only 10% kind of thing, but if I'm looking at this and just trying to understand, now I don't know how long this took to play out, and who knows if it's going to take that same distance to do it or time frame, but holy crap, dude. I mean, you're looking at roughly 6,400 days. All right, so let's put that into perspective. Is it 61 or 64? Crap. Too much on my mind. All right, we're looking at 2040 maxing out, which that makes sense because they're talking about the 2030 agenda. Oh crap! Hopefully, they don't cancel me on this. So that's when they're talking about a lot of things are going to be implemented. 2029, 2030, and then between 2030 to 2040 or whatever, carbon stuff and all the other crap. All right, to get back to the original stuff. Again, I'm trying to maybe open your mind on how I'm thinking and what we're doing. So now that we have our fibs, we know we're above here. It doesn't look like we're crashing. Not saying that we will or won't. I'm just saying this is how I'm viewing it. So I'm gonna look at it as it being more positive because of looking at this. Um, so now we can actually do some trend lines if we want, which we'll get a little closer on what we have going on here. So trend line. Here we go to the bottom of that. Up to there. All right. Bottom of that. Almost looks like it probably won't. Go to the top here. I'll run this. I mean, see how everything's tapping? We're in a range here. So we'll have to find out if it pops out of one of these ranges, if it goes one way or the other. Now we, like I told you before, you can go, so we have the wick and the wick, bottom of each wick. We can go the actual candle to the bottom of the candle. And now we have an actual small range in here. So it might tap that and go up, or it could go all the way to the bottom of here and go up. But what you're trying to figure out, if it does come down here, let's say it's about to break down, goes through here, you want it to back test that line again. And if it gets hit on that, it's probably going to go down further. And that's kind of the stuff that we're looking for. Now, this is a monthly chart. So this is a long time to play out. So you'll probably be in this range for a good while, most likely. All right, so now well, let me get my horizontals in here. Do we have any pop out at us? Looks like maybe there. Let's change that to green. That looks like it's probably one. That looks like it's probably one. All right. So those are going to be our closer ones that we kind of can view. All right. So then we have our Bitcoin. So Bitcoin was actually made in 2009. I'm sure there's other charts to go further, but the Bitstamp one is one that I kind of follow, I guess you want to say. So I'll kind of open this up. And we'll kind of do the same thing here, I guess. We'll go fib. Let's pull up fib. Does anything kind of go with this? A little bit. Let me go that far with it. So leave that there. All right, then we got another one higher up, which is closer to our times. Top there. Bring it down there. All right. So again, this is our top, which we topped both times here. Technically, if you look at it, this would have been this first one was technically our top. If you look at other charts, how it all kind of went. So we'll go to that one to the bottom of here. And I mean, it's for the most part staying where you need it to. Pop it off. All right, so let's get in our trends. Trend line. Let's see here. I don't even know where to start on this one. I really don't have. Let's try that. Get that there. Okay. Now, if you need to move it, you can go to the bubble. You can move it whatever you want. I'm gonna do that. We need to get our tops in here. There. There. We'll do one more. There. There. Now we have a triangle here going, kind of popping. Hopefully it'll pop up that way. All right, so now we have Bitcoin for the most part figured out. So yeah, that would put it there. That would, oh, that is one. We'll hit that one there. We got that there. Okay. Now we'll go back up to, what were we doing? Oh, Dixie. Back to Dixie. Now that we did a month, we'll go to, let's say, the 4 hour. Now you can go here, you can scroll, just grab it, go up, make it bigger, go in the middle of the chart, bring it down. We want to kind of see these candles a little bit. If you want to, you can bring this in, kind of adjust it how you want to. All right. So I want to do trend. I'll try to do this again. All right, got that there. Oop. Far. Bottom to bottom. All right. And go that top to that top. That bottom to that bottom. Now you can change these to a different color so you don't get them mixed up in your monthly color and your 4 hour color. So when you're on different time frames, you can kind of see, oh crap, I'm not in the month or I'm not in the week. You can kind of see what's going on. So now we're keep an eye on that. Will it break down here? Now you can, as you can see, you've got a red and blue here. So if you had everything linked, you can actually buy or sell. If you think that it's going to bounce off of this and go down, then you'll sell. But the issue is that we're going to go into, let's go into the 1 hour. You can go even further if you want to, which maybe I should do that. We'll go into 30-minute. I know this is, holy crap, this is going way longer than I wanted it to. All right. So now we have our trend line here. It looks like it's struggling trying to get up here. Now this thing actually goes up, pops out of here, comes back down, hits this, and still it struggles to break down and it starts to go up. That's when you want to put that trade in. You want to go hit the buy whatever contracts you're trying to do and go up. Now, again, a lot of this stuff I'm talking to kind of for my kids. And if you want to take on this information, you can as well for anybody else that's watching or listening to this. And man, it is hot in this room. So kind of just go with that. And excuse me, let me get some water here. But all right, so that's what you're kind of looking at. You're wanting a breakout of some sort. You don't want to fight with, oh, well, I think it's going to go down because you have this, I can't think of the EMA. I think that's a 50-day EMA. I could be wrong, but regardless, it seems like it flows with that pretty good. I mean, it seems like it bounces off of it pretty good, or tanks. So most likely it'll probably tap this, tap that, might tap that, could tap that again, tap it one more time because now it's going to go probably a little higher, and then it could break out. Well, if it does that, you can go, well, screw it. I'm going to put a buy in now. But be careful because what if it's a fake out? Then it's going to come down here and then you're going to lose your butt. We don't want to do that. We want to wait for it to retest that line, see if it's going to go back up. If it is, that's when you put it in. Now, this is the dollar index. I don't usually trade the dollar index. I'm going to be upfront with you. I look at it to see the other trends in my other stuff like the S&P 500, your Bitcoin, and other altcoins that I have up here and stuff. That's what I kind of look at that for. But if that's, I'm giving you an idea of what I'm trying to do these lines for. So now you have your bigger or your other line that comes through here. So it could come down here and tap that one and not that one, and then bounce back up and then range, and it could pop up here or hit here, break down again. And if it's in this area here, it could be a devastating break. It could, if it breaks that right there, it might just tank way down here, which that starts getting us into our 103 area. Now, if this is going down, most likely our Bitcoin and stuff is going to go up. So, all right, now that I went down to the 30-minute, you kind of get an idea of what is going on here. So we can actually do our trend lines on here if you wanted to. So we got the bottom here. And go ahead and do this. We'll change this color. Let's say we'll do orange. So so now this is the line that we're kind of looking at. If it breaks down here in the smaller time frame, then we know it's going to go down some more probably. But we'll leave that there to see what happens, because you can kind of look at it like this too. See how, okay, this was trending down or whatever. I'm just going off of these here. Comes across, it breaks, it comes back, taps that line, and then comes up again. Well, now we got the other line that's right here going to the top. So that would have been our newest line to the top of that. So when it hit that, that makes our top line. Well, it comes down, and now it's working on that again. Will it actually break through? I don't know. We'll have to find out. Okay. So now I'll bring this back up to 4. We kind of got the Dixie down. Let's go ahead and S&P 500. All right, so when you go to the next trade, whatever your time frame is, it stays on that. So now let's go again. This is what I'm doing. Oh crap, well, I can change it. So we'll get in here. S&P, change this in this 4-hour. I'll put yellow. Put this again. We'll go to the 30-minute. Let's bring this in a little bit. All right, and there, there. Change this to our orange, a different time frame. Right. So each time you want to do one of these trend lines, you have to go click it. We got here. Guess we do it like that. Right. And this can actually show the other way too. So at the bottom here, you can see that that's following it. Kept going up in this range. That finally did a breakdown. So you could have gone in here. Let's zoom in a little bit on that. You can see what I'm talking about. So when it broke down, technically we can tweak this a tiny bit. So I'm guessing it was a Saturday or something, yeah, Friday, Monday. Okay, this is basically the weekend. It tapped, came off of that, and then when new week came, it was gapped all the way down here. Well, came up here, tapped the bottom side, and it just fell. So when it tapped that and it was starting to work its way back, again, these are 30-minute candles. So you already know that 30-minute, it already bounced off of that, it came down. You already know it's going, especially when you get into the next candle here. All right, you put yourself a sell order on for that one. Wait for it to come down. Now, where it stopped, you're not sure, but if you're on the trading view one, you can leave this in here. So you can do a stop loss and stuff like, so you have basically your high here. You do a little bit higher than that. Let me check it over. So you can do, let's do the other one. You go, okay, well, it's struggling here. So we'll go ahead and do there. If it comes back to this line here, which is 58.72, then I know to get out because I don't want to lose any more money than this. Other than that, you can keep on going. You put your thing in on this candle here about when it starts, you're doing a sell. All right, you're in profit. Oh, you're a little less profit. Oh, it gap comes up. Oh, it's still not up there. Comes back down. You can follow this thing all the way down. Oh, there's my trend line. All right, it's struggling right there. All right, let me get out. All right, you put an order to get out right here. We'll put the other one somewhere in here, let's say. All right, so you just went, you got in at let's say here, 58.56. I mean, that's $80 a contract. I mean, just by letting it do its thing. You're not pushing yourself. You're just letting it do its thing. You're not trying to fight. Now, how long did this take to play out? All right, so if you got into it this day, you got out of it that day, you're looking at 2 days and 3 hours. I mean, that's not bad for a couple of days. So let's say you end up buying these contracts on Nadex. You did it for a week. Now this is Monday to Wednesday. So the first part of the week, you already did your stuff this weekend or the weekend. You go in, you already know if it does this, which it does. Now I'm going to go ahead and sell. You sell, you just let it go. All right, you just keep an eye on it every once in a while, but it comes down and it actually hits your other line. And you're just like, holy crap. Okay, well, let's go ahead and get out. So you go ahead and sell. So you ended up, let's say, buying contracts of it going down. Let's say your contracts were $40. All right, you get 10 contracts. All right, it's going down, going down. All right, you can make $80 a contract roughly. Now, on TradingView, it's a little bit different. You have minis and micros and stuff like that, and that's for a whole other video to understand. So that takes a little bit more money. So I keep going to Nadex because of, it's just easier to deal with and understand, and it doesn't take as much money or capital. So if you go into these contracts at the beginning of the week, you see it did what you do. You go over there to Nadex, you set it up, you see the contracts that you have available. You hit the closest one and say sell because you want it to go down. You figure out how many, well, the price point it'll go. You click the price point. How many contracts? Let's say you've got 500 bucks in there. You click the sell there for 40 bucks a contract. You get 10 contracts. All right. And you just kind of let this play out. Now you could technically, depending on where you got your contract at, to let it go throughout the week if you wanted to. Now, if you held out through the week, that would what you got 400 bucks into it. You turn 400 bucks into $1,000 if it goes in your favor on that particular instance. If you just kept it. Now you might get up here and go, crap, we got into it here. We tapped. All right, we're a little higher. So we kind of tapped again. Crap. You're going to get a little scared. That's when your feelings are going to start getting in here and start messing around. Now, when you come down here, it just makes more sense to me. Hits that, you go to Nadex, you find your contracts that you have, you go ahead and do the reverse. So if you actually go on there, it'll say basically your orders that you have in already. You'll click that, it'll pop up whatever orders you have. You go on the one that you want, you click on that, it pops up automatically on the opposite of what you did. So if you went to a sell order for that one saying that it's going to go down originally, it'll pop up automatically blue for your buy order to basically do the reverse. Might be a little, you might not understand it completely, but yes, that's what you would end up doing. So you end up going into that. You do the opposite if you're happy with that. Basically, you go ahead and get out of all your contracts. So it should already have all your contracts there. It'll have the price of when you brought it open. So it might be, if it came down that far, you got it at 40 bucks. You're probably at the $75, $80 per contract at that point. So if that's the case, you're looking at $40 contract thing. You just made 400 bucks. You just go ahead and get out of those contracts. Now your account went from 500 to 900. So then you keep on moving to the next one. All right, let's set up this next one. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, let's wait for the charts to go in what we're trying to do. Don't try to make the chart. Let it go into our favor. So like right now, we're close to this line here. Will it break through? I don't know. It could break through, bounce off of that, and go up again. I'm not sure. But we got to keep an eye on that. We got to wait for it to work in our favor. So that's kind of where we're at on this one. So let's put it back to 4 hour. We'll go over here to BTC, which is Bitcoin. What in the world? Oh, that's right. I did the fib one here. All right. So we can bring this back up. All right. Trend line. Bottom here. So if we go to that one has more points. We should do that one. All right, I'll click that one. Those ones. What's my 4 hour? Orange or yellow? Use yellow. Okay. Go up here, click. Click. Do horizontal. Do we have anything to match here? Say, heck yeah, that's a strong one right there. All right. Do we have any more that's kind of here? Struggling there. That's probably one there too. All right, so we'll hit that one there. We got this one here. It seems pretty strong. All right, so now we got that set up. We'll go to our 30-minute. Take a look at this. We'll bring this up here. Open this up here. All right. So now we'll go into keep on doing the same thing. Again, this is how I'm trying to do it. Let's go into pop. Now, when I'm doing these lines, again, I could be wrong. Like I said, I'm also trying to teach myself a little bit of what I know of doing these for the years that I have to doing it now. I'm not a professional in this, but I do want to get better at this. So I'm actually trying to, yeah, do what I can to figure it out. This is here. All right, so bounce, 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 breakout. And it was hard. It was a hard breakout. So that works there. Got more taps here, so I'll stick with that right now. So now with Bitcoin, we're kind of just waiting to see what it'll do. Put this up. Let's try to tweak this a little bit. Good. Those are your tops. So, yeah. Now, other people trade a little differently. They might sit there and go to the bottom of here, go straight up, see what we got here. You can also go to the 15-minute. A lot of people might go, for instance, go back here, go to the bottom here, follow this all the way up. Actually, that's way low. But regardless, they could be doing the same stuff. All right, goes up, hits, come down, breaks, back test that, try to back test it again, didn't, lost, and then it started coming down. It's where you can do your trades. And you can do the same thing going the other way. All right. Remove this top there. Work your way down. Well, it broke out there. It's tapping, trying to, it's still going down though. So we've got to hit that roughly. So comes up, kind of breaks, back test, and it takes off again. Now, it's easier to understand because the charts are here. While we're trying to figure out here, that's something completely different. And I get that. And that's why I'm trying to figure this out so I'm better at it. Um, and I'm sure I'll get there. I just need to figure out exactly how we're doing it. So let's do that. False breakout came back down in that 30-minute window. We're kind of just seeing what's going here. Again, we have EMA here. Came, bounced basically. Well, came down, bounced, came up, bounced, came back up. It'll probably bounce again. So that's kind of where we're going. We're kind of high on that though, so at least for the 30-minute. What are we looking like for 4 hour? Coming up. Okay. What are we looking at for the week? Sideways. Last time went sideways. Oh, sideways, came back up. All right, so we might be looking all right with that going up. So I know this is a long video. I don't even know how long I've been doing this stream. I know I don't have any comments or anything like that, but if someone's trying to learn this, maybe I can do this as a smaller video or whatever, edit this video that I just did live and take out the keys for it so y'all can understand how I'm trying to learn how to do this. Again, I've been probably regularly trading since 2012, I guess it was. I did regular stocks, just here or there trying to learn it because I've always been, since I was a senior in high school, into stocks because my teacher, Mr. Hawkins, man, that guy was awesome. So I got involved in my government class with that, and I didn't really start getting into it until 2012 because I was the dummy that kept on wanting to buy new cars and motorcycles and all this other stuff. So I didn't invest any money, and I can kick myself, which is why I'm trying to make these videos for people to see. And this is probably the most important part of this whole video right here. For people to see, younger people, hey, you don't need a new car. You don't need a $40,000 car, which that's what they are now. Back in my day, I bought a brand new fully loaded Mustang GT in 2001 for $20,000. Now that same fully loaded GT Premium is probably like 55, 60,000, which is insane. So what was it getting? Oh yeah. So you don't need to buy that stuff. You just need something to get to work to make money. You want that money to make more money. So if you can live off of, let's say, 40% of your money, you save maybe 20% what's left over, and then the rest of that money put into some kind of investments. I mean, holy crap. You understand what that does? You got a nest egg so you can retire, actually retire. Like my mom is retired right now, but she's struggling and she has a mortgage. My game plan with this channel, my other channel that I have, me working my investments, is to hopefully pay off her house. That's my goal. I don't know how I'm going to do it yet, but I ask the Lord, and hopefully He provides for that, because I don't want my mom to have to keep struggling until she passes away. That's my goal there. Definitely want to pay off my house so I don't have to struggle anymore either. But I've got investments, but I'm not pulling them out because of compound interest and how things are going. So my stuff into cryptocurrency or whatever, there's a projection that I'm expecting. I'll sell a few off here and there to make the money and then keep on moving along. I've got a retirement, I've got a pension, I've got, now who knows if those are going to be there, which is why I'm also invested in dividend stocks. I'm also invested in the cryptocurrencies. And then I have my house. which isn't paid off, but it's going to be. So that's my key takeaway for this whole thing. Set up on something side. If you can make a couple $100 a week doing something like this, I mean, it's awesome. The better you get, the more money. Well, what if you have $10,000 in there and you only use 10% of that money? So you only play with $1,000 on that. So that example that I just told y'all last time or whatever, if you had 500, all right, well now double it. So instead of making 400 on that, you just made 800. You almost doubled your money in 2 days by just doing that for 1 week. So now you go $800 1 week times 4 in a month. That's $3,200. Now you do your taxes or whatever. Well, let's say 2,400, 24 to 2,600 bucks after taxes. You start doing that over and over. All right, now you're looking at, you just made an extra $25,000 for the year by just following something like that, waiting for breakouts, go for it, put your money in, do it. Now, I'm not a financial advisor. Please don't look at this as I'm telling y'all what to do or anything like that. But I'm hoping this motivates you to want to do something with your life. This is for educational purposes only. I don't, this particular situation, you could lose money and you need to understand that. So if you put any money into this kind of stuff, know that you could lose it all. I have lost my money quite a few times, but I kept on going and pushing and learning as I'm going. I look at that as the price of education. So that's where we went with this. I appreciate everybody that showed up on this video, and I'm sorry that it was the way it was. Please like and subscribe on this, and we will talk again.